Good to have you with us on BBC London. Coming up tonight, young Londoners help persuade the Met to show fewer images of machetes and zombie knives on social media, concerned about its impact.
They'll show said weapon has been found in said area. Young people from opposing areas or different areas may feel that they need to get bigger weapons to almost protect themselves.
Also on the programme,
come on, West, do it today. Fix our jobs, fix our pay.
the advice to patients in and around the capital on day one of the strike by resident doctors. Plus, taking darts to a new audience, but could it also help with maths lessons? We're at Ali Pali to find out. And countdown to Christmas, the Hounslow houses dressed up like an advent calendar, all for charity. Hello and good evening to you. First tonight, there's been much debate on how to deter teenagers here in the capital from carrying knives, sometimes with deadly consequences. Now, a group of young Londoners has helped the Met change their approach to sharing images on social media of weapons they've seized, including machetes and zombie knives. They say rather than making communities safer, they feel it could actually be increasing the danger. Our Home Affairs correspondent Sonia Jessup has our top story.
These are the kind of weapons police have previously seized in London and posted on social media. The aim to show how officers are keeping communities safe, but some say it can spread fear.
We would see really violent weapons like knives with loads of serrated blades and stuff being shown to young kids.
Bipin Karnell and Lanita Mataj, former young advisors for the Mayor's Violence Reduction Unit, have been part of a 3-year campaign calling on police to stop sharing such images. They warn some teenagers use the information in a dangerous way.
These images that are posted online are being used for intelligence purposes. They'll show said weapon has been found in said area. Young people from opposing areas or different areas may feel that they need to get bigger weapons to almost protect themselves.
The Met has said in the past it's posted the pictures to explain its work, including why they carry out stop and search.
Sometimes showing those images can show what they're seizing, the work that they're doing, and can help communities feel safe.
It doesn't need to be posted. You can still put across that message that a knife has been taken off the streets, but through the use of statistics, rather than actually taking a picture of the knife. And in some cases as well, measuring that knife alongside to really showcase that.
Various studies have been carried out. One of 34 young people directly affected by knife crime found just over half thought the images would make them feel unsafe or afraid. 17 thought they'd make them less likely to carry a knife. However, 3 said it would make them more likely to do so. The Met invited the Young People's Action Group to New Scotland Yard to present their findings.
Being a young person walking into places like New Scotland Yard, at the start, I was a bit apprehensive as well. I wasn't completely sure that they were going to listen to us.
It was a bit frustrating when you went in and delivering a research, and they were completely shocked by the idea that these knife images were even a problem in the first place. When actually, with a normal a conversation, meeting out community, grassroots organisations, you would be able to find that out yourselves.
I think we were all aware that there was a bit of a disconnect between local communities and the Met, and I think it's up to us to try and bridge that gap.
The Met has now changed its policy, promising to only post images when absolutely necessary.
This is about being really clear that when we have to show knives, it's for a very specific reason, in a very specific context, and I'm going to explain that much more fully. What we want to do, though, is talk about the harm that knife crime does and what families and young people can do working with us.
Just last week, 15-year-old Adam John Henry was fatally stabbed in Islington, a 20-year-old man charged with his murder. Though the number of young people being killed or injured in London has fallen, fear of knife crime and questions over how to save lives continue. Sonia Jessup, BBC London.
And Sonia's here with me now. So as we heard there, the Met taking a new approach on knife imagery. Can we just turn for a moment to the wider issue of reform of the force, given news of a fresh inquiry?
Yeah, we've had details finally today of the follow-up to the Baroness Casey review, which took place almost 3 years ago now, and it found institutional racism, homophobia and misogyny in the Met. It said Londoners were being let down, and it said if there wasn't radical overhaul, the Met should actually be broken up. Well, one of the key recommendations from that review was for a second inquiry to check on how progress was going. We expected that to be launched a while ago now, but it's earlier this year, but it was only today we officially got the details. The new review will be chaired by Dr. Gillian Fairfield. It's been jointly commissioned by the Met and the Mayor, and it comes just as the Commissioner is setting out his plans and priorities for policing. He said that it's about bringing crime down, tackling toxic culture, lots of progress being made. But of course, we have seen things like the scandal at Charing Cross Police Station, evidence of officers revelling in the use of force, misogyny and racism displayed there. And so Dr. Gillian Fairfield says that she will take a ruthless approach in this inquiry, but also, she says, acknowledge good practice. She says she wants to hear about the experience of Londoners, and she expects to report back next summer.
OK, Sonia, thanks very much for bringing us up to date on that. Our Home Affairs correspondent, Sonia Jessup. You're watching BBC London. Plenty more to come tonight, including...
The film industry wants to become more environmentally friendly, so join me at a studio in West London which has taken steps to reduce their carbon footprint, and they hope studios around the world will copy them.
And with Luke Littler-mania in full flow once more, the power of darts is being used to help youngsters with their math skills.
It's not the Christmas present many Londoners wanted, but 500,000 households could see their council tax bills rise by up to 10% in the coming years. The government's announced its plans for funding local authorities this afternoon and are targeting areas that have low council bills at the moment. Our political editor, Carl Mercer, is here. Hi, Carl. So what does this mean?
Yeah, look, normally when I come on here and talk about the government, we're complaining because they haven't mentioned London enough. I think this is pretty much a case of being careful what you wish for, because there's something excitingly called the Local Government Funding Settlement, which was announced this afternoon, basically where the government tells councils how much money they're going to get next year. Broadly, it is going to rise for most councils, but they picked out 6 councils in our area: Wandsworth, Westminster, Hammersmith and Fulham, Kensington and Chelsea, the City of London and Windsor and Maidenhead, and said, look, you've got low council tax rates at the moment, so they're going to get less money from the government. But they said you'll be able to raise the money locally yourself. So that means without a referendum, actually, because it's normally capped at 5%. They say you're not going to need a referendum anymore to do that. So that could mean either council tax rises or parking rises, that sort of thing. Had some reaction from the councils. I'll read them to you after taking my glasses off. Hammersmith and Fulham, a Labour council, said at a time when residents are struggling with the cost of living, we will not burden them with extraordinary new taxes. We've got this from Westminster Council, another Labour council. The interesting bit on this, in the notes to editors, Westminster City Council did not ask the government for the council tax threshold to be removed, in bold and underlined. And Kensington and Chelsea, a Tory council, this is deeply disappointing response from the government using tax as the answer. Many people will not be able to afford the exponential rises the government appears to want.
So aside from those councils, what does it mean for the rest of the capital?
Yeah, well, we had a response from London Council's the body that represents all of London's authorities today, and they said, look, we welcome some bits in this. There is a longer-term funding deal for councils, makes it easier for us to plan, but there are still issues with it, as Claire Holland, the chair, told us.
For us as London boroughs, we're concerned that there'll still be a budget gap. It's going to take time to fix council finances, and we know that. So we are concerned that there'll still be shortfalls in budgets across London, and this is mainly driven by the homelessness crisis, where London is the epicentre of the national housing crisis.
Yeah, and we know, don't we, because we reported on this quite a lot, London's council spending £5.5 million every day on temporary accommodation. They say, look, we need some help on welfare reform and the money that the government gives on something called the local housing allowance for that. Otherwise, they say, more London councils will be going cap in hand to the government and saying, let us borrow even more money. OK, Carl, our political editor, many thanks as always.
Let's take a look now at some of the day's other news. Councillors in Essex have agreed Stansted can increase its annual passenger numbers by 8 million to 51 million, which means it would become the UK's second busiest airport. Uttlesford District Council has recommended that the expansion is approved, citing economic benefits. The Met Police faces legal action over its plans to force officers to declare Freemason membership. Earlier this month, the force said it would be added to its declarable associations policy following a review into the 1987 unsolved murder of Daniel Morgan, which cited Freemasonry as a source of mistrust in investigations. Freemason organisations say the move is discriminatory. Barnet Council has prosecuted a former employee for polygamous working, the practice of holding more than one full-time job simultaneously, after an investigation revealed she was working full-time for 2 London authorities, the other being Croydon Council in its housing department. Sally Bodum was sentenced to 12 months in prison, suspended for 2 years and ordered to pay £10,000 to Barnet Council. And you can find more stories and the latest updates where you live on your local BBC News website or via the BBC News app, of course. OK, more now on the 5-day strike by resident doctors, which started this morning. What effect could it have on healthcare in and around the capital? Well, the Royal Berkshire Hospital in Reading has, on average, more than 400 patients attending its emergency department every day. Alistair Fee went to see how its A&E operates during a strike.
At this time of year, emergency care is at its busiest. The flu season has come early, and now, on top of all the winter pressures, doctors on strike.
So I just wanted to confirm that I'm feeling okay because I had a fainting episode on the flight. I was more concerned about the time it might take, the waiting time with the flu going on and the strike and everything, but it didn't feel that way. It was quite a good experience.
On the first day of industrial action, this is a hospital braced for the additional demands it will bring.
We have staffing. We will be able to cover what we need, but it does add extra pressure to a workforce that is already working very hard.
So could that mean patients wait longer to be seen?
Potentially. I think we have worked very hard to mitigate that, but there is always the potential. We know that in winter the pressures on ED are high anyway. It is potentially that patients need to wait longer.
The numbers coming in are on the rise. Just last night, 54 more patients were admitted to a hospital bed. One of the great unknowns this winter is how the so-called super flu will affect trusts. This hospital has admitted 15 patients with flu this week.
There is definitely a surge, far more than we don't see it in the summer months. So it is significant, and it is causing us extra pressures.
Gary has come in today with chest pains and was seen quickly.
It came on this morning about 8:30, gradually got worse. I rang the doctors up and they suggested to come down here.
Gary, it can't have escaped your notice that the resident doctors are out on strike today. Was that a concern when you came into the emergency department?
Not really, no. You don't give it a second thought. You go to the hospital, you go to the hospital.
This trust has 330 resident doctors. It's not known how many are striking yet, but around 75% walked out last time. So far, around 343 appointments have been postponed because of this industrial action.
At the end of every one of those appointments we're talking about cancelling is a patient, there's a member of the community, there's their family, with all the consequences about those delays. So we try to minimise them whilst also making sure that we're ensuring safe care in an environment like we're in at the moment within the emergency department.
Managing strike days has been tried and tested. This is the 14th by resident doctors. The real impact of this industrial action won't be felt until Christmas week, with the strike ending at 7 a.m. on Monday. Alistair Fee, BBC London News.
Well, that was the scene today at Reading Hospital A&E. We can now talk to Alice Bandu-Kravi, who joins me. Alice, so what does this strike mean for patients in and around the capital?
Well, we heard in that report, and we've been hearing in the last few weeks about the pressure that the NHS is under with rising flu cases and various bugs doing the rounds. What people need to know is that the strike is planned to go on until 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday, the 22nd of December. Now, NHS bosses have urged patients not to delay coming forward for care during the strike. That means going to any scheduled appointment unless you have been told specifically not to. Obviously, anyone with a life-threatening situation should call 999, go to A&E as normal. And the advice for anything else is to use the 111 website or indeed the helpline. But important to know that GP surgeries will be open as normal during the strike, which, as I say, ends on Monday at 7 o'clock in the morning.
OK. All good advice to know about. Thank you, Alice. Now, still to come before 7. It's getting very Christmassy in Hounslow. We take you to the houses dressed up as an advent calendar, all for charity. An independent London film studio used by the hit Apple TV comedy Ted Lasso, amongst others, says it's trying to lead the way for the country's film industry to become more green. The West London film studio has invested millions to reduce its carbon footprint. It's after actors, including Brad Pitt and Benedict Cumberbatch, called on the industry to do more. Asad Ahmed went to see what's been done.
There's nothing very exciting about a nearly 14,000 square foot space in West London. But when filmmakers come here, they see a big space with endless possibilities.
What?
Room service.
I didn't order anything.
There's a man under the trolley.
Dozens of productions starring household names have been made here. But with the film industry coming under increasing pressure to reduce its carbon footprint and big names like Leonardo DiCaprio, Emma Thompson and Benedict Cumberbatch pushing for change, well, this studio has decided to act because just one major film production emits the same amount of carbon as 500 homes in a year.
We know with global warming and everything that's happening, and it's very important for everyone to do their part. By me doing this, I'm doing my part. I am worried it's not just for me today, but also for our future, for our children's futures as well.
Rainwater at the studio is collected for the toilets, while the film sets are dismantled and donated to local schools so children can use the materials to learn new skills. Then there's the bird nest above the generators, which tells you everything you need to know about the clean energy being produced here on site. These generators, why are they so efficient?
These generations we are a self-sufficient power plant, and we use natural gas to generate electricity. And along with power, we generate hot water, and also which is called waste heat. And that waste heat is used in the building to provide air conditioning and hot air, and also provide hot water.
I wanted to apologize for last night. I bit your head off for no good reason, and I'm really sorry about that, and I hope you can forgive me.
Multi-award-winning Ted Lasso, one of Apple TV's most popular productions ever, has benefited from lower emissions at these studios. Something to please the environmentally conscious viewer.
Brad Pitt and Benedict Cumberbatch are two actors who I know have been very vocal about this. By me doing what I'm doing, hopefully it's the right thing to do.
The British Film Institute is also fully on board. Their IMAX cinema in Waterloo uses heat pumps, and the BFI is working across the industry on the environment.
It feels like there is a groundswell all the way from independent filmmakers, producers, right the way up to some of the big US Hollywood film production companies. We want to support the industry to do that. It's not straightforward, but we absolutely know the right way that we can do it.
Back at the studios in Southall, bees, birds and wildlife are made welcome in the gardens and produce their own honey, blissfully unaware of the blockbusters and A-listers sharing their space to become more green. Asad Ahmed, BBC London, at the West London Film Studios.
Now, the emergence of this teenage superstar, Luke Littler, over the last couple of years has taken darts to a new audience. Well, hoping to capitalise on its increasing popularity amongst children, the Professional Darts Corporation is working with a growing number of schools to use the sport, wait for it, as part of maths lessons. And today, some London pupils were invited to Alexandra Palace to do some sums. Chris Legg went to meet them.
Double six then. And that will do it.
Luke Littler beginning his World Championship title defence in style last Thursday. Alexandra Palace is in party mood once more.
Well, it's not your typical darts crowd in at Ali Pali right now. Local school children are taking to the Ocky, where the power of darts is being used to help them with their math skills.
25. So what does that leave Scott? 87 minus 25 leaves him.
The Professional Darts Corporation has been delivering its Bullseye Maths scheme into schools since 2022 and is now pushing for it to be included on the curriculum.
They're learning a lot, teamwork, we're learning how to communicate with each other, and we're obviously learning maths in a fun way. The children won't know they're learning maths, for having that much fun.
Another one in there to win the match in true Shaggy style.
Scott Williams, a semi-finalist here 2 years ago, enjoyed a comfortable victory last night to make it through to round 2. Today, he was on hand to help the kids with their darts and their maths.
Did you like maths as a kid?
Yeah, love maths. Maths is my favourite subject. It's my son's favourite subject. And it just happens the fact that this is my job now. It's like counting is my job, so it makes it easy.
Littler is still only 18. His world title success in January has helped take darts to a new and younger audience. And it's not just at the Ocky that his skills have had an impact, says one of Britain's best known teachers, Bobby Seagull.
When Luke Littler, I think he was 16 at the time, shot onto the world stage, I remember telling my students, he's just a couple of years older than some of you. You could be like him, maybe not as good, but you could do the same maths as him. And he was such a great role model to have a young person modelling arithmetic skills in the real world.
Time to quiz the kids on their bullseye maths.
In the middle of the darts, it's like a small circle, and it's red, and it's worth 50 points. And around it's green, and it's worth 25 points.
So what do you get when you add those two together?
75.
Good work. 5 threes.
5 3 to 15.
6 threes.
18.
You know your stuff.
I'm not really good at threes. I'm mostly good at twos.
Okay. Do you think this has helped you get a bit better at your threes?
Yeah.
At Ali Pali today, there's no doubt the sums all added up to a good time. Chris Slegg, BBC London.
Now, not many doors left to open until the big day on Advent calendars, which can contain anything from chocolates to beauty products. However, homes in one part of West London have transformed themselves into an Advent calendar. Let's take a peek behind this one. A sparkly number 13. OK, how about let's go to the start of the month. And there we have number 1, Christmas trees, complete with a shooting star. And today is, of course, the 17th. So let's go down to there. And that is where we can join Lakshmi Gopal, who can tell us more. Hi, Lakshmi.
Riz, hi, yes, this is the living Advent calendar, as you've explained. So this is just one of the many houses involved in that. It's one of 3 streets in Isleworth where they've been switching on their Christmas lights and decorations one by one, day by day, home by home. And as you can see, the entire neighbourhood has come out to watch and celebrate. They've even got a snow machine, because no, it is not snowing. It's not a white Christmas in London yet. It's not snowing. This is just their snow machine to make it as festive as possible. As you can see, I'm very underdressed. I didn't get the festive memo. They're all looking very Christmassy. Donna, you're one of the residents who organised this. Why did you do it?
Because we can. We are a community. We know that we can make a difference. So why wouldn't we? Let's make loads of money, make loads of awareness for an amazing, amazing charity.
Yes, because as well as the illuminated homes and the lighting up of the living Advent calendar, this is for a good cause, isn't it? But just go back to telling me why this idea of lighting up homes in a day-by-day way came about.
It brings joy. It brings joy, it brings happiness and optimism. And, you know, we need a lot more optimism in our community. And we realise that why don't we all get together as a team and bring that joy.
And Isaac, you're one of the residents here. What difference do you think this makes?
It makes a huge difference because everyone who walks down here can see what we've done, like our display.
And Seth, just tell me a little bit about, very briefly, what is it in aid of?
Hounslow Youth Counselling Service, which is an amazing charity that provides free counselling for 11 to 25-year-olds. And as you can see from all the people here in Hounslow, including Hounslow Mayor Crofts, it's really important to people. So if they are willing to donate, if they are able to donate to a really important cause, please head to Just Giving and search Christmas Advent Calendar TW7.
Seth, thank you, and thank you all. And it is a good cause, and Christmas is, after all, the season of giving. Riz.
Thanks very much, Lakshmi. Well, I mean, how do you follow that? Because there was certainly snow there.
There was. I think that's the closest we're going to get to a white Christmas in London. That's what it looks like at the moment. Anyway, very effective effects there. Well, today, very, very not a white Christmas at all. We had quite a bit of cloud. It's been another reasonably mild day today. Temperatures widely in double figures. But that cloud hasn't gone anywhere. Just little glimpses of something brighter. But that's all we've had on offer in the way of sunshine. Now, this is as we head towards this evening. This is what's been happening. The cloud has been increasing, and we've got this band of rain which is going to move through this evening. And then tomorrow, that starts to wave back towards us. But this is tonight. We are expecting some heavy rain. It'll move through. The wind will pick up as it does so. But actually, the temperature last night, we were close to 0, if not a little bit below. This is tonight's temperature. We're back up in double figures. So milder air moving in as that rain moves through as well. Now, for tomorrow, the Met Office has a yellow weather warning in place for heavy rain, widely 15 to 25 millimetres and strong gusty winds. Now, that warning is in place for Surrey and beyond, parts of West London and beyond as well. It doesn't mean we're not going to get the rain further north. We absolutely are, but it perhaps will make more of an impact further south. Now, that rain's going to last for much of tomorrow. Temperatures 13 Celsius, gusts of wind 30, 40 miles per hour, potentially more. Now, that is going to clear, thankfully, overnight, and we get a brief bit of respite. As we head into Friday, we have a brief little ridge of high pressure, or the influence of it, which means we should have clear skies. So that rain overnight on Thursday will clear out of the way. We'll get clear skies as we head into Friday. Minimum temperature dropping down to 9 or 10 Celsius. So for Friday, like I say, we have lots of sunshine. It's dry and it's clear right the way through the day. Barely any cloud, actually. The wind a bit lighter too. Temperatures very similar, getting up into double figures. But as we head into the weekend, now Saturday, we're going to be holding on to that sunshine. Sunday, though, we're going to see a little more rain moving in. Riz.
Gosh, a lot of rain tomorrow. Kate, thank you. And that is it. Thanks very much for being with us. On our website, how former Arsenal striker Thierry Henry is to be honoured with a Lifetime Achievement Award at the BBC Sports Personality of the Year tomorrow. Also there, check out the life-sized marble dinosaur head unveiled in central London. I kid you not. From me and all the team here, do have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.